What's going on? We're back. More of the anonymous coverage. And today we are joined by a very special guest. Bismah is in the house. How are you?
Yeah, I'm so excited. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you for asking. And thank you for coming on the show. We really do appreciate it. You and your cast have been very, very forthcoming with your answers, and it's been very insightful. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk some tea with you guys.
Oh, yeah, we're ready.
Yeah.
I love to hear the tea. Let's just start right off. What was it like joining the game late? After everyone's already been there for a little bit, you just have to pop right in and full steam ahead.
Okay, so it was incredibly tough. Let me just say that because I'm learning everybody's dynamics so quick. I'm trying to figure out who actually knows what's going on and who's just kind of there. I figured out really quick that Jack was, he was a mastermind, right? And from that first day, and actually from that first challenge, when I picked him, I was like, okay, this is a strategic move. I want him as an ally. And even when I gave him the immunity, I had that in the back of my head. I knew at one point he was the anonymous. Like, he just knew too much right off the bat. And just kind of learning the characters, I think, really quickly was tough. But at the same time, we have big personalities, so it's not that hard to get assimilated in the group. It's just hard to join an alliance, right? Mm-hmm. So, Victoria did that in a way, and, I think Wayne had his own way too. But for me, it was kind of like forming that girl group, right? Mm-hmm. That was my way of kind of getting a quick alliance.
Had you been in the game from day one, do you think, or how do you think your strategy would have changed?
Oh my God, if I had been there from day one, I think, it would be less a girls versus guys dynamic for me, to be completely honest. But I think because I had to really get in there and work some gameplay, and I saw 4 women already went home. So I was like, all right, there's clearly a trend here. I'm not even trying to create drama, but there's clearly a trend here. And I don't want to go home. At the end of the day, it's beneficial for me. I was talking to Marcel about it. I talked to Jack about it. They were worried that, all the girls wanted to get them out, but that really wasn't what it was about. It was about, for me, it was like, I don't want to get out. I see the trends, and why wouldn't I capitalize on that? And so I feel like if I was there from day one, and I saw this with some of the other cast members, it's hard to pick up on that so quickly when you're in the game to begin with, because then you see the personalities. And I saw some people justifying like, oh, well, this person went home because of this person did that. So I'm like, okay, well, you can't really see the trends so clear. Like, you're just not seeing what I'm seeing, without knowing anybody. So I think that was definitely something that I picked up quick coming into the game.
Like seeing what mistakes other players had made previously.
Yeah. Yeah. And just getting the background from the other players on, hey guys, so what happened while I was away? And, people had different things to say. So that really helped me form just an idea of what had been going on. I do think though that in general, even like, the women, it was hard for people to like see the trends. It was kind of like, well, first of all, I saw right off the bat, there was a lot of drama that happened in just the first 3 days. Mm-hmm. And people were tense. People were not trusting. Nobody trusted me really. And I had to gain that trust. But it was definitely hard coming up new. And you would think, oh, it's just 3 days, but that makes a huge difference. Marcel told me right away, he was like, I'm not even going to lie. I wanted to get all the new players out. Like, I was like, immediately, that's like, everybody was talking about it. Let's get the new players out. And so you have to think quickly. You have to do something quick in order to last in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the math challenge, because it seemed to be after that occurred, y'all were like, oh, we added money to the pot. Yeah. Everyone said, target.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I don't know if it came off on the screen, but the wind was like a tornado out there. It was so bad.
Yeah.
only that, Lily and I are the shortest people in that house. Okay, so we do not have any height advantage whatsoever. Everybody else on every team at least had a tall person. You know, Chris, Dylan, who else am I missing? Xavier. Somebody was able to do the height part of that. So even though, I mean, I'm okay at math, you know, and Lily's okay at math, but I could not go for another number unless I wanted to flop like all the other teams. So for me, it was like, it wasn't even about the money. It was about the immunity. You can only go two ways. I'm not going to be dumb and go for the money that I can't win. And I didn't know that everybody else is going to flop. I just knew I was going to flop. And I was not prepared to do that. I'd rather go for immunity at that point. So for me, it was, you know, everybody came at me, but at least I put money in the pot.
The whopping $50.
I don't know. I don't regret it. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's it was a bold move. Like we're going to discuss that episode a little bit more in depth on our Thursday night. But we noticed it in the beginning of the first episode where Andy took like the easy way out, and then he was easily targeted after that. Were you aware of Andy's antics in the beginning and how it was penalized by the players?
No, I had no idea. He kind of talked to me about, hey, in the chat, these people said this and that, but I didn't know to the extent that Andy was being targeted. Mm-hmm. So it was just funny hearing, hey, like, let's eliminate the players that aren't contributing. But, to me, I know I can contribute the money, but it wasn't about that for me, right? But it was a little hypocritical for sure. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know. So I knew that there was going to be a target on my back, but I didn't know it was going to be to that extent. I will say that. I had no idea that it was going to be to that extent. Because I'm going to be honest, I thought more people were going to play for immunity. And I know that Xavier wanted to go that route too, but they ultimately didn't. But for me, I thought more people were going to go that route.
Yeah, no, it was wild to see the challenge performance, even at such a low number. Like with that wind, that wind was absolutely ridiculous. Like you're watching everything blow over. Oh my God, it was insane. It was crazy. I mean, I really was like, are we even going to be able to keep it up there? And they didn't show it, but it took us like 2 times to actually do it. That wind was brutal.
Mm-hmm. And the timing's not that long either. You really have a limited amount of time because you have to think and then you have to stack all of it. So you're doing multiple things. Yeah.
It was so quick. And honestly, I was thinking about, should I just jump on the platform and climb it? But I wasn't sure if I was going to get disqualified or something. So I was like, all right, let's just see what happens. But that was going to be my next move, like just jumping on top of it. Because I was literally not tall enough and it kept, falling down. So I was getting frustrated, but at least we got it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. After seeing everybody's, I was like, at least we got it.
And it looked like it was a photo finish between Marcel and Dylan and you two. My question was, you had this women's alliance that was kind of, bubbling up, etc. Yeah. And then you ended up choosing Lily to be your partner for that challenge. Are you finding her to be like at this point in the game like your number one ally?
So it's funny. I don't know if it comes off on screen, but like when Danny said, "Hey, now choose your partner," and I think they got a shot of Marcel saying, "Right now," it was literally like the person that you were next to just ended up being like, "Okay, you want to be partners?" I mean, and also, what are you going to do? Say no? So had I known that it was a height related challenge, I would have chose differently. I'm not going to lie, but it worked out. So to be honest, Lily was somebody that I knew that was on my side. I knew that she was in alliance. Mm-hmm. So there were times where I guess I didn't talk to her as much because I knew I didn't have to worry about her. It was, I think, other people that I didn't talk to as much, Xavier and Marcel, that I felt like because you already have alliances, you already have these connections, and you want to get the new players out anyway, it's going to be hard to build that really quick. So for me, strategically, with the women, that's like maybe not half the house, but good portion of the house. Okay, cool. If we can get that alliance going, great. Then I can focus on the other people.
Gotcha. So we've talked a little bit about what's been happening outside the anonymous room. Walk me through your strategy going in the anonymous room. What was your thought process being the handle of Eagle?
Yeah, so I chose Eagle because I'm a lobbyist and I work in politics, and I did not think anybody would, figure that out, seeing me in the house. And I didn't mention it. I tried to be really undercover with it, and, almost play dumb and go in there and just almost kind of sneak your way to not seem like a threat. But I remember like the first day that I was there, Nina was like, "Oh, you picked up on my name really fast. You're really good at memorization." And that in my head, I was like, "Oh God, okay." No, we're not doing that anymore. Like I could just tell it was very quick. And she later told me, she was like, "Well, I thought it was because you knew I was from Survivor and I was, Sandra's daughter." And I knew she was from the Survivor universe, but I had no idea. So that was like a cool reveal. But so going into anonymous mode, I feel like what I really wanted to do was come off aggressive. And I don't think that people would have, thought I was aggressive in person. And then the chat version of me would have been putting everybody on blast. And you kind of saw that with Marcel and Chris and, in those kind of ways. And it's funny, like I don't even remember what I said at this point, so it's like a surprise to me.
Well, that first anonymous mode that you were through, I mean, that was like the OK Corral. Everyone was firing at each other. How did you walk in, or how did you stumble into that, and how did you react to that when just like the fireworks just started exploding everywhere?
Oh my God, I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked. I did not know that we were going to come guns a-blazing like that. But at the same time, it was like, okay, well, I'm coming on in the middle, right? So people are getting, they're heated. They've already done this a few times. And that was the hard part. I kept asking Danny, I was like, can I get a refresh? Can I please get a refresh? Because like I didn't get a second chance. And I felt like, okay, now I know how this all works. But I was very shocked coming in because I guess it's one thing to learn about the concept of the game, and it's another thing to really be in it and experience it. And then every time you hear your name, like Danny's always like, "Oh, how do you feel? How do you feel?" And I'm just like, I don't even want to say anything right now. Like I don't like hearing my name come up. It's hard to really describe the feeling, but it is feels like a personal attack. And you really have to get over that. It took me like a few times to get over that. But yeah, it's a tough game. You have to be really strong and just brush things off. That's all I'll say.
Oh yeah, I bet. And honestly, watching it back for you, what's been the most shocking thing? Because obviously you're there, you're living the moment, but then everything's airing now and you're watching it for the first time.
Yeah. So it's so funny. I didn't see any of the Jack Andy stuff that happened before me. So I was like, oh, Jack and Andy are so tight. And I was like, watching that back, I had no idea that Jack had that kind of gameplay because I didn't see the handle before or anything like that. And so that was the biggest shock to me because, coming in, I'm thinking, okay, we're all, and honestly, there were times that we were all talking together and strategizing. I did not realize Jack was going that route. He didn't do it as much, I think, when we had the second, the refresh when we came in, but Yeah, I didn't expect, and I also feel like there was a lot of, clickiness, I guess, watching it back that I didn't, I didn't even meet some of these people, right? But I think it was kind of like the threats felt like, okay, we're safe because we have this many of us and that many of them, and kind of selecting who they want to go. And it worked. It definitely worked, but there's only so long that's going to work. Yeah.
That is the total truth. Well,
Yeah.
Bismah, thank you so much for coming on to the show today. We really do appreciate it. I'm going to let Lauren take us out here.
Yeah, thank you once again for coming on. Is there anything you would like to leave us with?
No, honestly, just thanks for having me on. It was a really, really cool once in a life experience. And you make lifelong friends throughout the process, even if you have to text them, "Hey, I'm so sorry," the next day. Which I definitely do that. Yeah, no, it was an incredible experience, and I can't wait to watch the rest of the episodes back. So it'll be fun.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Thank you.